Hey guys, Ted from Nerdarchy here, for nerds by nerds, and today I'm hanging out with
Nerdarchy's Dave.
And here we're going to talk about why Nerdarchy says everyone should DM.
Jump down in the description below where you can find Nerdarchy, the newsletter, game weekly tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
Alright, so I was having a conversation on Facebook with one of the Nerdarchy fans, and conversation was going back and forth, and it got me thinking that over the years of playing this game, at least in our group, the DM chair has shifted quite a lot. Now, lately we've been running, my game, your game. I've heard tales in other groups where there's one DM all the time, no changes.
Well, that's pretty standard. I mean, that was our group for a long time too.
Well, it was you and Steve.
Yeah.
And you guys would flip-flop, and it took a while, and it was kind of an insistence of, okay, guys, this is annoying, we need somebody else to step in.
Yeah, well, and also, too, for us, one of the main DMs, Steve, kind of was inconsistent and eventually just went away. So then that just really left me to run the game. But I do find that most of the time that's what it's like. You have a bunch of people that'll show up, play the game, but only one guy or gal is the one that's going to DM. Even in my first group, it took a while for the rest of us to start running and nudging from that GM going, hey guys, I would like to play too.
So really the point of this video is to talk about why everyone should take, at least every once in a while, take a seat in that DM chair. And for me, There's a lot of nuance between being in control and seeing the game from a completely different side. I don't know how you feel. I mean, you've been DMing far longer than I have. I mean, I did a little bit of DMing for non-serious games before I started gaming with you. And I mean, I even did the stupid stuff when you're an early teenager and it's like, playing the DM character and that kind of stuff. But what is your exposure early on between how the game changes when you're a DM as opposed to a player?
I think by DMing the game, it gives you more understanding of what it takes to run the game. Mm-hmm. So I think you become more respectful of the person running the game, mm-hmm. and wanting to fit into the story they're telling and being more cooperative. Most of the time. Probably not all the time, because there is the aspect of some people like the DM because they want to be in control. Mm-hmm. They want to control everything. But the one of the real benefits to being the DM and having other people DM is being exposed to different DM styles as well. Mm-hmm. I always try and learn from the people that are running the game, especially if they run the game differently than I do. And so you're constantly as the player who does a lot of DMing. I think you're always kind of like armchair DMing. I would have done this different or done that different, or I really like the way that played out and things like that.
I do the same thing, and there's times that as a player in Dave's game, and having gamed with Dave for as long as I have, there's times that something will happen, and I'm sitting there like, all right, what is the decision process here? How did he get to this? And in the last 6 months, there's times that I know I've questioned it multiple times, right from the get-go. I'm like, all right, I'm not seeing the logic flow here. What's going on, Dave? But I don't.
Chaos.
I don't say anything because that becomes, then I would become the disruptive player, and I don't want to do that.
I encourage saying things, but outside of the game, not while you're running it, while it's being run.
Yeah. So, realistically, when you sit down at the gaming table, I think there's a lot of times if you only play, you have no idea how much work goes into being behind that DM screen. Now, if you've watched all of our videos, you know that some of my most successful sessions that the players really enjoyed were when I didn't do a lot of work before the game started. The ones that I've done the most amount of work for, they're like, it was okay. So apparently my skills really rely on improv, and that's going to ebb and flow, and sometimes I'm going to improv really well, and other times not so much. So that's something that I will continue working on. But if you have a DM who's used to over planning or planning, enough to really sell the sizzle, players might not understand how much work goes into running a game.
That being said, I feel like, to get to that point where you're good at improv and you have to go through this phase where you do a lot of prep and over planning and stuff like that, and like nowadays there's a lot of tools and resources available to us as GMs where we can actually learn different things to work on that are more effective than maybe what me and you started off doing, where we're like writing out full modules,
right,
which may or may not get used. But that's also like the benefit of being a player with other DMs is then you get to see how they do it and incorporate it into your own GM style. But the benefits of being a GM is, one, if you happen to be someone who's maybe a little socially awkward or introverted, this can help pull you out of the shell and experience the game. If you struggle with role playing, being the GM is going to help you because you're forced to role play all the characters that are not the players, right? If you're weak with combat, it can help you get better at it, because if you want to challenge the players at your table, you have to manage all the enemy combatants and get better at. Well, you don't have to get better at it, but generally when people do something over and over again, they improve and get better.
It's true. Really, it will shore up whatever your weak spot in the game is. It'll give you more of an understanding of what this game is about. It'll give you a respect for the other people who have run games for you in the past, and you'll find out what part of the game that you like the most. In my early days of playing, I really was more interested in the combat angle of the game. I'm now more interested in the role-playing aspect of the game, and that shows in the sessions that I run. There's times where I'll run a session and there's one or less combats, and the last session that I ran literally had none, and I had some ideas prepped, but the players never.
There was one, but I don't know if you really would call it combat. But you also might find too that maybe the combat and the role playing aren't the things that you actually like. Maybe you like the exploration pillar, and you find a way to introduce that into your game in a way that hasn't been done before at the tables you've been at. So that's the other thing. Being the GM gives you a creative outlet. You get to make the world in your image with hopefully with some input from your players.
Right.
It's a great way to express yourself. Maybe you're not artistic, you can't draw, you can't sing, you can't do, you're not a creative person when it comes to creating stuff, but as the GM you can, because you can write and you can tell the story. So there's all those things that you're going to get to do and find out what you like, and I find has a very positive effect on most people and helps them just grow as individuals in all these different directions.
So the thing that I want to really really touch on, there are between whatever RPG you're going to get into, because it doesn't necessarily have to be D&D, but there are prepared modules out there. If you feel that you have no experience with prepping a session, you can run and you can go off of one of those. They've done all the work for you. You just need to run it. If you feel like, all right, you want to jump in head first and dive into this fantastical world, create your own setting, go for that as well. But you can run a one-shot, you can run small little mini arcs. There's so many resources out there to help you. Give it a try. Tell your gaming group, hey, I've never DM'd before, I've never run a game before, I want to give it a shot. Do a one-shot, see how you like it. I think it'll give you a newfound respect for the game. It'll give you a newfound respect for those who have run games for you in the past. Totally think everybody needs to do it. You'll find that some of you out there, it might not be for you, and you can go back to being a player. But some of you, despite all of your predilections to not wanting to do it, so some of you are going to love it. And, just take that advice. Run with it.
Like I tell my kids, you don't know if you like it or not until you try it.
Try it, you'll like it.
So just eat it. But no, it's exactly it. You just need to delve in there, see if you like it or not. Your current DM will probably appreciate it unless he's a megalomaniac and wants control of everything all the time. But other than that, I think he's going to appreciate it. It mixes things up for the rest of the players. They get to try out new characters, possibly do different things. Your style is going to be different. It's a win-win. And you know what? If you do it and you're not good at it at first, don't worry about it. Keep trying. that is the only way to get better and get feedback from your players too.
Absolutely. Conversations are the way that the groups grow and do things.
And that's what goes back to, I said, well, yeah, you should question your DM, but just not during the game. So, hey, guys, let us know about your first experiences DMing in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can hang out with us over on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.